Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is VlogsBoutNothin. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy Sunday to join me. I really appreciate it. I hope that everyone has a lovely week at work. You feel me? Tomorrow is Monday, and it's not a holiday week. So, I'm kind of excited. I got an email notification earlier, and they're sending out some stickers that we had made for the channel, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's taken months to sort of, come into existence, and I'm very excited about that. It's not what we're talking about right now, though. I suppose it is what we just talked about, but I do want to talk about previews. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Vlogs about nothing, 7 minutes here, time, give or take. I appreciate that if I haven't already said it. But previews are a big part of my life. Like, I know that sounds weird and sort of possibly just way too nerdy, but a part of me lives for previews. I don't even, when the movie drops or when the show comes out, it's sort of like an afterthought. It's sort of like the protagonist in The People That I Know, starring Al Pacino, where he's in the elevator with an executive and describes to the executive that it's not even doing drugs that's what he likes doing or what other people. It's like the feeling that you get before you do them. You feel me? And that's kind of very, very, very similar in comparison to how I feel about movies. The movie is sort of like, yeah, it's what I went for, I guess, but would I have gone if there were no previews? Probably not. Unless I was super into the movie, obviously. But then what would I do with my life? Something? No, I don't think so. So the thing is, when I say I've spent a lot of my life, looking or watching previews, we could YouTube my history and it would be like there are maybe just hours upon hours of watching, upcoming trailers for new movies and series. And I don't think I'm the only person that feels this way. Every time we go to the movies, I'm trying to get there early so we can see the previews. Once the movie starts, it's sort of like, okay, I have 5 to 10 minutes in the beginning to sort of do what I need to do and get what I need to get because nothing happens then. And even though I'm a huge fan of nothing, sometimes I need a little bit of flavor. So I enjoy previews. Especially as I get older, I'm noticing now that since I'm a huge, huge fan of VHS media and beta and DVDs and just hard copies of old media, whether it's movies or seasons for TV shows. And I think one of the best hacks, obviously, is to purchase DVD copies of like seasons, for example. It's a really good hack because episodes of certain seasons, like are per episode, and by the time you buy all of them, it's way more than if you would have just bought the DVD, you know what I mean, of that particular show. And so on these DVDs and beta and VHS tapes, there are old previews, and I'm thinking that like from the 80s to, well, I guess now, because if you haven't been to a movie theater in recent memory, then you wouldn't know that the previews are more than just previews now. They do behind the scenes, they do commercials, and it's sort of a homage, I'd say, to back in the 80s where sometimes we'll be watching movies on tape, you feel me, just so that like a Coca-Cola ad pops up or a Pepsi ad before Home Alone. Like how cool, like, and grimy is that? Like if we could switch grimy to being like bad just by like the way you say it, that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing. You see what I'm saying? So just super grime in that right before you're about to see the blockbuster event of, the early 90s starring some kid who gets left alone by his irresponsible parents, is an ad about, like a simple ad, and I know the ad, right? And before Ninja Turtles too, there's this crazy cool commercial about biracial children, sharing a soda pop out on the playground. That's pretty cool. I think that's obviously very progressive, seeing as though On the alternate side of things, while I'm a fan of Friends, the TV show, for example, interesting fact that there's not a single black person in the entire show throughout the entire any season. You feel me? So you kind of more or less can see what show creators were a little bit more progressive than the others. I mean, compare it to, another show like Seinfeld, and it's just non comparable because Seinfeld took place more or less in the real world, and Friends took place just sort of in that Nantucket kind of a vibe in Manhattan. You feel me? Not much color around except for the help, I suppose. Yeah, and so we say a lot of jokes here on the program, right? I hope that you guys know that I joke a lot. I think my whole life's a joke. So don't take anything too offensive. It would, not be what I intend. So, that's all. But previews, again, are a really big part of my life. Sometimes now I'll even just watch previews before I, up and start doing something. But who hasn't seen? I like the fact that when I do see trailer drops on YouTube, they literally get tens of millions of views, right? And you wonder if people are like me and they just like watching the previews, or how many of those views translate into dollars at the box office. You feel me? Especially when it actually means going to the theater nowadays. So that's all. I hope that you guys have a lovely night. Thank you very much for taking, all of the time that you do to join me on the program. We stream 4 times a day. It's time to solicit. If you haven't already, tell a friend. You feel me? Leave a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel a lot. Until next time, bye.